Welcome to Love Advice with Linda Love Coaching. I'm Tanya, and today we're talking about narcissists. This video is to help you determine whether the guy you're messaging on Tinder could be a narcissist. Sometimes it's impossible to tell if a guy's a narcissist until you've met him and spent a little bit of time with him. Others, it's pretty clear early on that you might want to steer clear of these ones. But what about the ones that are a little bit more subtle? The ones that might be flying under the radar a little bit. Well, they're the ones that I'm talking to you about today. I thought that I would start with specific examples that girls have brought to me about guys that they were unsure of. The first telltale sign is that he's complaining that you're not answering his messages quickly enough. I'm talking about the early messages on Tinder before you've even met him. A guy sees you on Tinder, sends you a message, but pretty soon he's complaining that you're not responding quickly enough. And this can sound a little bit extreme to people. So I usually say, let's take a 3 strikes and you're out approach here. The first complaint is usually pretty low grade. So I say, let it go and let's just see what happens. Second one, by the third one, I'm saying, don't even go there. So let's look at an example. Here's an example I received from a client recently. This is what he said. You've not said much about my introduction or said much about yourself. Something you're not pleased with? This guy on Tinder sent a first message that was really quite long, that went into a lot of detail about himself, how long he's been in Australia, and several other things. This girl had responded nicely to his introduction. We were only 2 messages in from him, and he was already indicating that her behaviour wasn't satisfactory for him. This is a cup she can never fill. So I said to her, let's just wait and see. Let's go with 3 strikes and you're out. I think it's a good way to go as well. We don't want to become too judgmental and start discarding men left, right and centre before we've really seen for ourselves that the little red flags that start flying actually mean something. And the best way to learn is by experience, as long as it's safe, of course. I suggested she just wait and see what he does next. Soon enough, he sent another message. Are you going to reply? He's now becoming demanding and is not respecting the fact that she could be working long hours and just hasn't had the chance to reply yet. Next thing, he sent a message saying that he's going to report her as a fake profile. If she had messaged him back very quickly, she may not have brought out these narcissistic tendencies in him. So this guy definitely got to 3 strikes and he was out. Here's another example. Guy was setting up a date and asked her where she would like to go. She said she would be happy to let him pick. And he replied, okay, sure, but if you're not keen to meet and greet, it's okay, LOL. Don't feel pressured. This is an inappropriate use of LOL and shows a little irritation that she's putting the ball in his court to pick the place. Now, I know a lot of people would look at this and say, are you serious? This guy is really a red flag already just for that? My answer is a resounding yes. This comes from years of experience of watching how these things play out, observing what happens when these girls ignore these warning signs and continue to see them anyway. It never ends well. Then I soon find myself coaching them through a breakup situation that's hard to get away from. And here's what this is all about. I compare the behaviour of an emotionally healthy man who's looking for a serious relationship with what I'm seeing on the screen in front of me. A great guy just wants to get this girl on a date. He wants to meet her and see for himself if she could be the woman he's been looking for. He's excited that she's agreed to meet and he's wanting to impress. The last thing he's going to do is risk turning her off by saying, well, you don't have to meet me, LOL. He simply won't do that. He wants to meet her, so he'll be happy to go to some effort to find a place for them to meet. And even if he doesn't know her area, he'll Google some places and pick the right one. From this much information, you couldn't go around diagnosing people as being narcissists, but at the very least, you could say that they're buyer beware guys, and it's probably better to steer clear. These 2 examples that I just gave indicate a need for instant gratification. These people have little patience and get angry very quickly when you don't respond in a way that they would like you to. This comes from being very needy of validation from others. When they don't get that validation, it's virtually impossible for them to contain their rage. On the surface, it might seem like a light-hearted LOL, but actually he's trying to mask this fury that is building inside of him because she hasn't just gone ahead and planned the date and responded with long essays about her life and pretty much just chatted endlessly all day with a guy she hardly knows. Why would a woman with high value do that? So having boundaries is really important because it helps to bring out the truth in another person's character. A good man respects that you have boundaries, even if those boundaries are simply that you're at work and you don't want to be messaging guys on Tinder while you're supposed to be concentrating on what you're doing. And the same goes for time with friends and family. Give them your full attention and don't be slipping away to reply to messages on Tinder from a cute guy that you really don't know anything about. I'm in the business of helping girls avoid pain and heartache because on a daily basis I have women calling me devastated at the end of a relationship, or they're having a lot of trouble breaking up with someone that they have this kind of attachment, almost an addiction to. The problem with this behavior that I've talked about here is that it just worsens over time. If you continue to see this guy, pretty soon you're going to find that there's nothing that you can do right and he's going to be picking on everything you do. They also have a tendency to use your vulnerabilities against you. So if you've told him your life story and some of the difficulties of your childhood, you'll find that he brings them up in an argument and throws them at you and says things like, see, you're damaged because of your abusive childhood with your father, and you are just sitting there stunned that he would bring this up from a situation that was probably very low grade and certainly didn't justify him bringing up things from your past that are very painful for you. Arguments start very easily and spiral out of control before you even know what's going on. So when you stare down the barrel of that gun, I think it's much easier to take heed of the early warning signs and run. These guys never get better. Remember, in these early stages of dating, a guy's supposed to be on his best behavior that is going to encourage you to want to meet them. They're not going to start being rude or complain or tell you, well, you don't have to see me if you don't want to. And even if he's not a narcissist, do you really want to be in a situation where you're continually having to assure a guy that, yep, it's okay, I'm into you, I'm here, yes, I like you? You don't have to do that. You shouldn't have to do that. If this is the best he can do so early on, imagine how bad it could get. So in summary, here are the things to look out for. Complaints about anything. Usually they're about how long it's taking you to reply, but they're also complaints about the way you're replying. I can't say enough how important it is to stay away from guys who are complaining in those early stages. Girls that end up going on dates with these guys find that they're saying things like, oh, are you normally this quiet? You know, making the girl feel uncomfortable about, yeah, maybe she is nervous. It really is that important to take notice of complaints that these guys are making. It really is everything. A great guy does not complain. He's just thinking about all the ways that he can encourage this pretty girl that he's found online to get on a date. He's not wanting to mess around anymore. He's looking for the real deal. Remembering to watch out for complaints keeps it very simple early on. Is there one complaint? Okay, let it go. Let's watch and see what happens. And I will guarantee that you're going to see 2 and 3 complaints in a pretty quick succession. And the other important thing is keep your boundaries firm. Don't be messaging guys all day and night, or interrupting your day at work to message a man, or interrupting your time with friends and family. So be safe out there, girls. It is so important to be really selective about who you agree to meet. Your life really does depend on it. But there you have it, my early signs on how you can detect a narcissist on Tinder. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and I will see you soon for more love advice with Linda Love Coaching. Bye for now.